I'm now on page 69, tutorial 2-5, and step number 1 is to save this as tutorial 2-5. And while I'm waiting here, notice that over here on owner occupied by county and renter occupied by county, I have the same color ramps over here. That was part of the your turn business at the end of tutorial 2-4. Okay, and we're supposed to save this tutorial 2-5 and click on save. And in the table of contents, right click on the vacant housing by county layer. And we wanted to go to its properties again, and we're going to go to the general tab, and we're going to call this percent of vacant housing by county. I'm going to go to the symbology tab and select HSE units as the normalization value. So not 00, but I think the ones without the numbers on the end are down here. So HSE units is right here. Okay. Now all that normalizing means is that we're going to convert everything to a fraction. Okay. So if there's 100 units in one area and they have 10 vacant houses, that would be a 10% rate. And if there's another place that had 1,000 and houses and 100 of them were vacant, they would also have a 10% rate. And so those two would be comparable. If all you do is look at absolute numbers, the one with 100 is going to appear a lot worse than the one with only 10. But in reality, they're probably the same. So normalizing always means that we're going to convert these numbers to fractions, and we're going to compare fractions then. So if you want to normalize something, you have to have, to make it into a fraction, you have to have a denominator. And so we are taking the total number of housing units, and we're figuring out how many vacant housing units there are, and that's going to give us the percentage of vacant houses in each one of these counties up here. Okay, so that's what normalizing means, converting it to a fraction. Now let's click on the classify button, and we want equal interval. Okay, and select 5 as the number of classes here, and click on OK. So it is taking the range of numbers here, which goes from around 4% here up to about 74%. So basically we're taking our 70% range and dividing it by into 5 parts, which means there would be 14 units about in each part. So this one should go from 4 to about 18. This one should go from 18 to about 32. This should go from about 32 to 46. This should go from about 46 to 60, and this should go from 60 to 74. And you know, if you rounded these numbers off, that's about what you would get. So it's dividing the range. You know, it's not going to give us 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. It's taking the true range of numbers. So the lowest number here is about 0.4%. The biggest number is 4%, and the biggest number is about 74%. So we're dividing that range into 5 equal parts. And so after we've done that, click on OK, which I did. And now click the label title, and you know, I don't call these titles, I call them column headings, but they call it title. And click on that and choose format labels, and I'm going to tell it that I want those to be percentages, and I have to tell it if the number already represents percentage, and it does. And oh, I'm sorry, okay, so percentage would be like 10, 20, 30, 40%. And so this is a fraction, and we want to take a number like 0.5 for example and display it as 50%. And then we want to click the numeric options button, and you can get pretty deep into some of these menus here, which is the hardest thing about using this program. There's so many different levels that you can go to looking for stuff. You can't always remember where certain things are, and I guess the only way you get used to that is just by doing enough of it. So we want the number of decimal places to be 1, and click on OK, click on OK, and now we should be back here, and they've still got the black color. I'll go back to the black color ramp here so we can so it looks like theirs again. And your labels here now should be 3.8% to 17.9, and if you look at these numbers here, 4 plus 14 is 18, plus 14 is 32, plus 14 is 46, plus 14 is 60. So we're doing intervals of 14%. And then it says click on OK, and okay, and I am still looking at owner occupied by county, whereas what I want is vacant housing units by county. So let's turn that on. And now if we take a look at the map, this map should look identical to the map at the top of page 71. Okay. And as far as I can tell, it does. Now at the middle of page 71, we want to create a density map. And so this is going to give us a number per area unit. Okay. And so what we want to do is we want to go to vacant housing by county layer, the same one we have before, and we want to copy it, and we want to go to edit, and we want to do paste, and we just made a copy of that layer. And now we're going to take this new one and we're going to rename it vacant housing. Just going to click on a second time here, and I want vacant housing density, and hit enter. Okay, and I think I'll turn this one off now as well because we're just working with this one. And in the general, okay, so we changed that. I'm on number 4 at the bottom of page 71. Click the symbology tab, and we want ALAND 10, which I think stands for area land. So let's right click on this and go to properties, and we want to go to symbology and the normalization field. This time we're going to divide by the area. So let's see if we can find ALAND on here somewhere. ALAND 10, and there it is. So we're going to divide by that. Click on OK, which I just did. In the table of contents, so our layer properties dialog box, symbology tab, the numbers should be exactly the same numbers that are visible on the top of page 72, and it appears that they are. Okay, number 5 on page 72 in the table of contents, right click US cities, and we want to choose, whoops, I guess I need to click on OK here, and go to US cities, and I want label features. Okay. So I am telling it to turn on labels for the items that are on the US cities labels. Now we see labels of all the cities. Click on bookmarks and choose New York, and it zooms in on New York. This should be identical to the picture at the top of page 73. Click on bookmarks, And just take a look at this. This black here is the highest, so that means we've got a lot of vacant units per square meter, per square mile, per square acre. I guess acres, you don't say square acre, per acre. And then the other one we want to do is we're going to go to Bookmarks here and go to Los Angeles. And out in Los Angeles we'll see that there's not as many per unit area, which basically means they're more spread out. Okay, and that is the end of tutorial 2-5, so we'll stop the video.